Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton and Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners across the pond in London, England, as well as Latin America, and of course, you good old boys in Canada. But I also want to say hello to the Big C tribe in Africa following Big C Sports. But Big C, there's no one we love more than you good old boys down south of the land of the free and the home of the brave. Big C, how's it going for you good old boys? Yeah.
I think we had to do some excessive drinking on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's all good as long as Alabama wins. That's what I hear. That's what you guys really care about down south, and they keep doing their thing, Big C, so we're happy about them. Today is October the 16th, 2017, in the land of the free and the home of the brave. You know, we started out last Friday, and we started talking about some of the teams that had a chance to win. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to all the people, especially in Northern California, in the Santa Rosa area, in Marin County, wine country. A lot of people have lost everything. I mean, there are houses that look like you just put out a barbecue, the way the barbecue grill looks when you finish cooking with charcoal. That's how some of the neighborhoods look that have been there for years. Well-established wineries, you know, houses that go back into the 1900s, as well as new modern real estate. Big C, we have the storms in Texas, Puerto Rico, Florida. What's the advice for people going through things like that? Sports it helps, but how do we help people get over that situation, Big C? Your thoughts?
Regardless of how many sports that are being played, the devastation and life-altering incidents that have occurred in America over the past month, Charlton, never can be relieved by sports. I mean, it's an escape venue periodically.
Yeah.
But, you know, we're talking about everyday life, Charlton, the altering of someone's life. You know, some of these people are retired. Some just starting out, some getting in the middle of life, Charlton. Regardless of whether we're looking at Houston, Florida, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Charlton, and now, you know, Northern California. I think all of this, you know, and it's hard to blame it on one individual, but so much has occurred during this current presidency of negativity in America that, you know, you think, you know, we talk about God's wrath, and I know there's a lot of religious people in the world. And things come in cycles. But when you look at the devastation that America has suffered, and I tell you what's appalling, Charlton, it finally took until today for Trump to declare California a disaster area. This has been going on a week, this devastation, with no end in sight. And he finally recognized that this is what happens when you don't have a FEMA director in place. That you're running by a bootstring talking about you're cutting costs in Washington, yet you have your cabinet flying around on private jets at $25,000 an hour, but you're cutting jobs in the public servants, okay? You didn't have a FEMA director, which has really hurt the recovery efforts in Houston, in Florida, especially in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, Charlton, and now in Northern California. This is a lack of care about the people of America. That's what this has been about. And when you look at people in Puerto Rico who still haven't had any aid, and now you look at the devastation in Northern California, Charlton, those people have put a lifetime into development of businesses and homes out there, Charlton. And now everything is gone. It's not even about putting on a pair of boots and gloves to go in and see what you can salvage. There's nothing.
A lot of people are dealing with that. FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, obviously they come to the help of a lot of people, but they're, you know, a lot of times it has to be a presidential disaster declared before they come in with their funds and help to get loans, and the SBA is helping people build up. So again, our thoughts and prayers go out to all the people going through that. And it seems like it's from East Coast to West Coast. Hopefully we can add a little bit of you know, just trying to get your mind out of that. I do want to say this segment sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton and Big C sent you. Big C, I want to touch on something as we get into the show, but I think it's very poignant just to say about 49 years ago that Tommy Smith had the protest and at the Olympics. Now, so many people think that what Colin Kaepernick is doing is kind of fallen on deaf ears, but I don't think so. We'll talk about that later. just talk about what Smith did 49 years ago. He didn't have the media. He didn't have the multi-million-dollar contracts. But when he did stand up for human rights for black Americans, he was ostracized. Big C, your thoughts? Yeah.
Well, they rose their fist in the black power side. And these two gentlemen lost their amateur credentials at that point. They were banned from amateur U.S. athletics for life. You think about the racial divide that we've always had in America.
Yeah.
When any time African Americans have spoke about the oppression
yeah.
enduring in America,
yeah.
white America gets very offended, saying, how dare you tell the world what we're doing to you?
Yeah.
And you think about it. 49 years ago, these two gentlemen, two of the fastest men in the world.
Yeah.
Silver, bronze and gold medals at the 1960 Olympics.
Yeah.
Held up their fist in black solidarity. They made no voice, Charlton. They did non-violence.
Yep.
I mean, it was a peaceful demonstration, such as Colin Kaepernick has demonstrated, and many other African-American players have been demonstrating in the NFL.
Yeah.
But white society is saying, how do you have the audacity to point out the atrocities? Like they say, there's been no oppression of any culture in America for 100 years.
Yeah.
And he is witness. I didn't realize he was 100 years old.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's something.
This is what America goes through. Every time African Americans raise up and say, we're not being treated fairly.
Yeah.
We look back in the 60s, when we had the civil rights movement, and even in the 50s, Charlton, where blacks started becoming of age, and we don't want to be treated unfair any longer.
Yeah.
We want our civil liberties upheld.
Yep.
This has been the problem with America. And when we sit up and we see that it's not a protest at the national anthem.
No.
It is the African-American players saying, recognize who we are.
Yeah.
But the protest comes, Charlton, from the fans and the broadcasters by not acknowledging the truth.
Yeah.
By saying it's against the flag, by saying it's against the military. White America is trying to deflect, just like the president.
Yep.
Saying that it's something else. It's not. We don't want to tell you the truth of why they're doing that. We want you to make you believe that it's against something else. That way, we can all come up in arms against them. But the only people that are protesting the flag and the national anthem and the military, Charlton, are the stupid people in the stands that are standing there booing, that are yelling. Tell me how many guys in the urinal stop using the urinal.
Yeah.
With a beer in his hand and one hand and a hot dog in the other. Which one did he put down so he can sleep in that? Anytime you pan a stadium, Charlton, during the national anthem, count the number of hands that are not on hearts.
Yeah.
They exceed the number that are on them, Charlton.
That's funny. I've only heard you on Big C Sports and Don Lemon from CNN mention that, because a lot of times people act like the flag is more important than human rights, and it's never meant to be that way. Big C, I've always talked about people doing the right thing, and for any person in America, if you work for a company, if you get fired and you've asked for help, you've asked for them to help train you, you told them you want more, whatever the company offers to make sure you succeed, which is what they hire you for. If they fire you, like Jamel Hill, maybe she'll pay attention to what we're going to talk about, file a lawsuit. The days of, hey, I'm sorry and please, please, please are over for intelligent people. For dumb people, they'll just say, hey, okay, boss, boss, thanks for letting me come back. If you're smart, get a lawyer and file a lawsuit. That's the only thing power respects. Power respects power. It doesn't respect you walking around with your head between your tail saying, I got family, I got bills to take care of. File a lawsuit if you have any stones about you. Big C, speaking of stones, and I will touch on that in a little bit later. The Yankees, I thought they would be a team that had a chance, but the Astros look very strong. It's hard to see the Yankees go back and sweep at home and then come back and win in Houston. Just give me your thoughts on the Yankees, Houston, and then we'll touch on the Cubs and the Dodgers. Big C, your thoughts. Yeah.
They've had some hot bats. When you look at them, they have 2 MVP candidates on their team.
Yep.
So this is a team that can hit the ball. And they also made the trade for Verlander, which helped their pitching core, Charlton, become even stronger. But when you think about the Yankees, Charlton, over their history, they've gone into 9 series, 0-2. 9 ALCS series, 0-2. And they've actually won 4 of those games.
Really?
So they're not out of it same thing. They bring in CC Sabathia to the mound tonight in Yankee Stadium, hoping to get a spark from that long-time veteran, Charlton.
Well, Big C, he is definitely a veteran. Another guy from the Bay Area, about in the region where the Fires are, from Vallejo. So if you're a Yankee fan, hopefully he'll have a good outing. I know Houston has a lot to focus on outside of the flood that happened down there. On the West Coast, I thought I saw one of the best baseball games last night I've seen in a long time. Whenever Yasiel Puig, who I think will be the MVP of the NLCS and perhaps in the World Series should they get there, this guy, whenever he comes to the plate, he reminds me now of what Barry Bonds was like. When Barry Bonds would come to the plate, there were a lot of times that people would stop what they were doing just to see if Barry Bonds was going to get a hit, Big C. I see the same type of the ferociousness, the guy who's so locked in. Now, he did something that I only saw very few players do. He pointed at the outfield one time. He didn't get a home run, but he did get a double. And we know how he gets on base, he's going to score. Just your thoughts on how he's been, I guess, the tipping point in this series, Big C. Your thoughts? Yeah.
Where he was suspended by the team for, conduct. But, it takes a while to mature when you come from obscurity and no money and you're making a lot of money. You're living in the city of angels.
Yeah.
And you get sucked in by what a city has to offer.
Yeah.
It took Puig a while to grow up, but he's always had the athletic attributes and been a tremendous athlete.
Yeah.
Now that he's locked in and focused, he's gotten some help from the Dodgers organization about how to be a professional athlete, Charlton. You're seeing the end result on the field night in and night out. And, he's been the leader of the Dodgers here in the playoffs.
Yeah.
This team has relied on each other all year long, Charlton. It just hasn't been a one-man show, either the pitching staff or the big bats.
Yeah.
The Dodgers have been consistent. They had a little slump late in the season. People couldn't wonder why.
Yeah.
What they did was they brought up a lot of the young players, Charlton, from the farm system to give the veterans some rest. And what you want to do in that is seeing what prospects you have for the future. But once they started playing that regular lineup again, Charlton, the Dodgers have caught fire and haven't looked back, and they have a 2-0 lead in the series now versus the Cubs. People will question Joe Madden on his pitching moves, but he hasn't come to this point by making pitching moves. You can never question a guy that's had the success that he's had in his career.
No, you can't, Big C. In fact, they went to the 9th inning before they finally dropped that game at Sylvester being just a walk-off home run. It's amazing. The Dodgers have had 10 players have walk-off home runs this year, 10 walk-off home runs, and it happened last night. Ironically, they had talked about it just before it happened with the redhead kid down there. So congratulations to Chavez Ravine and Dodger Blue, Dodger Stadium, and just a lot of great things happening in that world. Big C, college football had its share of upsets. We talked about Clemson and Washington State falling to Syracuse and Cal, and both of those games were on the road, ironically. But I got to bring this game up. When I look out at the West Coast, and I'm always wondering, how does Washington go from being in the National Football Playoffs last year? They have a Heisman Trophy candidate at quarterback in Browning. They have one of the highest scoring teams in the country. They go down to the desert and they score 7 points. It's a lot like Washington State getting 3 points on the road at Cal. What in the world happened to the boys from the great Northwest? Yeah.
That they were going to be a blitzing team, and they made no adjustments offensively for that. So they blitzed Browning all night long, and he couldn't make adjustments to the blitz.
No.
You would think that a kid being a third-year starter in a system, that he would understand the audible system.
Yeah.
And he recognized none of the blitzes that Arizona State was throwing at him, and they took this huge loss.
Yeah.
As well as what Washington State did up at Cal. Even though, the quarterback hurt his hand.
Yeah, Falk hurt his hand. Yeah. Yeah.
And when you think about it, the West Coast basically was eliminated from the playoff chase, Charlton.
Yeah.
Those two big losses between Washington and Washington State eliminates the West Coast. Regardless if USC runs the table, you got to look at USC been squeaking by teams. They haven't dominated anybody.
No.
They're not going to get any love from any coaches for even Utah State. They were on the verge of losing that game.
Yeah.
So if USC has had 3 games that they've been on the verge of losing, Charlton, but that's not what they're looking for when it comes to playoff caliber teams.
Yeah, and I thought Utah had a chance to go for 2. Actually had a player open in the back of the end zone, but USC very suspect on defense from running, keeping outside containment. I go back to the 2005 Rose Bowl when Vince Young ran to the right and Frosty Rucker goes down inside as a DN. I think they teach you good boys to keep outside containment. Well, it happened against Utah on the 2-point conversion, so that helped them get that win. But the Red River Shootout, what an amazing game. Oklahoma and Texas. You could throw the records out of the book. And this is a game where it's just, you never really hear it quiet in the stadium, because whether you have a good time on offense or defense, the opposing crowd's always 50-50. Just give me your thought. I think they played this for 100 years now, Big C. A big deal in the Southwest. Your thoughts? Yeah.
You can get knocked off whether you're undefeated or not in this game. And it was a very competitive game all the way up and down. Texas played a good football game against Oklahoma, who had just came off a scathing loss at Iowa State.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield got his 300 yards passing. But Texas hung in there for a young team. They have a lot of promising players.
Yep.
It's going to be a matter of whether Herman can pull this together over the next couple of years and make Texas competitive and relevant again. But Oklahoma brought itself back in the playoff hunt, Charlton, with this game. Now, the big game for Oklahoma is going to be later in the year against TCU, who is undefeated in the Big 12, which I think is a dominant program, Charlton, that now ranked in the top 10, I think in the top 6 in the country.
Yeah.
And can go undefeated. They're only bumping the road to Oklahoma later on.
That's a very good point, Big C. And speaking of bumps in the road, I want to bring up a thought. Down in the Southeastern Conference, Texas A&M was an underdog going into Florida, and Florida can get rid of those green Gator uniforms. I don't know if I saw alligators on the field or not, Big C. I said, wait a minute, alligators wearing numbers? I thought they were looking for that alligator or that Animal Crossing sign that you always hang out by. But Texas A&M, they can't seem to find a way to fire someone because they keep winning the big games. They played Alabama closer than anybody, and they beat Florida in the swamp. Your thoughts, Big C, on someone's win? Yeah.
I think some of these programs have gone over the top.
Oh, yeah.
As far as their marketing, saying we got to find new memorabilia to sell because, some of this stuff you don't even want to wear at the street.
No.
You don't even want to work on your car.
No.
I wouldn't go out fishing with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
To come up with the big victories. Everybody said McElwain had Florida on track. They were talking about they potentially could have been an SEC championship game. But I think someone's silence on that, Charlton, with that big win by A&M this weekend.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll cut some of the boosters down, saying, hey, we need to replace this guy. Because when you look at the landscape of college football,
Yeah.
one hot college coach out there on the smaller school level.
Yeah.
And that's the coach at Syracuse. But he's African-American. So he's not a hot ticket.
No, they won't be looking to get him a job anytime soon. I want to talk about a program down on the East Coast and the Southeast that actually used to be just like Alabama is today, the University of Miami Hurricanes, and all of the great talent, Big C, that has come through that Hurricane program. A game against Georgia Tech that went right down to the wire. Georgia Tech had actually won, I think, 4 of the last 5. Miami to get into field goal position in the last seconds of the game and kick that win. Does Miami have this swagger back, Big C? Your thoughts? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Came back home last year, after he was dismissed by the University of Georgia back to his alma mater.
Yeah.
And this is a guy, you think about the talent he had in the SEC, Charlton, at the University of Georgia. He was always losing 1 or 2 games a year. The old boys there weren't happy with that. Everybody thought he should be Alabama. Okay?
Yeah.
Alabama. And he's gone down to Miami and resurrected this program in a short turnaround of time, Charlton, to get him back in the top 10.
Yeah.
Now, they're the top team now in the ACC since Clemson went down.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
They're the only undefeated team left in the ACC. So this is Miami's chance to get back on top of the heap. They got one game they have to worry about the rest of the year, Charlton. That's the University of Clemson. Okay?
That's a very good point.
You've seen that they lost their quarterback in their loss, but Mark Richt, he had South Florida reeling just like back in the 80s, Charlton, thinking national championship run.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Big C. Also, Ohio State won big at Nebraska. What an amazing scene, seeing all that red and gray up in Nebraska. Big win by Ohio State. And, you know, Alabama got the win, a big-time win over Arkansas. Oklahoma State wins. Georgia wins. And Stanford with a blowout win over Oregon. I would say Stanford's probably the best team in the Pac-12 at this time, Big C, because they're putting points on everybody, and you cannot stop their running game. So congratulations to Stanford. I do want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. For every sporting event, you need athletic and event insurance. We work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports for your pro teams, your college teams, your high school teams, even your mom and pop soccer leagues. When you reach out to them, let them know that Big C sent you. Big C, I want to touch a little bit on the NFL, and then we'll get into one thing I really want to finish on with Kaepernick and how he's such an intelligent person, because smart people take you to court. Dumb people pray and ask you to forgive. If you're smart and you've been aggrieved, you take people to court. Big C, really sad news for the NFL with Aaron Rodgers, one of the prodigal quarterbacks of the NFL. I thought it was maybe a dirty play. You don't have to drive someone onto the turf, but defenders are taught to hurt people, not to injure people, but to hurt people. Your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers, and it probably means the end of the playoffs for the Green Bay Packers this year. Yeah, I knew you wouldn't, Big Z. Yeah. Yeah.
Rodgers tried to brace himself, and by doing that, he jammed his arm into his shoulder.
Yeah.
And so that caused the fractured collarbone problem, but it wasn't a dirty hit, nor was it a dirty play.
Yeah.
You know, football is a game.
It's a tough game.
I mean, they tried to protect the quarterbacks more and more over the years, but once you get outside the pocket, that protection is gone. If you'd have been in the pocket, Charlton, they would have thrown a flag. He became a runner at that point, and that's the difference. And everybody has to recognize, as a quarterback, you have the ability to slide. You have the ability not to put yourself in harm's way.
Yeah.
But when you challenge a defender, these things can happen. But it was a clean play by Ball, you know, who hit Rodgers and took him down.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, yeah.
They're out of the playoff hunt, Charlton. You know, everybody said last year, okay?
Yeah.
You know, the Green Bay Packers got as far as they got because it was only Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Okay? Anybody can beat anybody on any given Sunday. You look at that division they're in, and I don't know if you remember the teams that were in there. There was one of them named Chicago.
Yeah, the Bears, they got a football team. Yep.
There's another one with the highest paid player in the NFL who always playing
In Stafford, yep.
Called Detroit.
Yeah.
So if they're right in the thick of things in their own division, they may not be the best team in the NFL, but they're as good as any team in their division, even without Rodgers.
That's a very good point. Houston with a big win over Cleveland. They were a 10-point favorite. The over-under was 46. I'm impressed with Houston. And
They lost to Cleveland, okay?
yeah.
They had a quarterback throw 3 touchdowns against them to play for Houston.
Yeah. Yep.
He had to bypass this kid twice in the draft.
Yep. Now, that's a very good point. That's a very good point.
They bypassed Deshaun Watson twice in the draft.
Yeah.
Number 1 overall pick, and I believe they had the number 12 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
They bypassed Deshaun Watson twice.
Yeah.
Okay? So ain't no damn sympathy for Cleveland.
Now, let me just add.
The management is under the stupidity watch right now.
Yeah, that's a good point, Big C. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. The New England Patriots. Yeah, I know it's a good point. They missed out big. I guess a guy that goes to the national championship games 2 years in a row can't be good enough to come and coach or play your NFL football team. The New England Patriots, they were favored by 9 over the Jets. They got the win by 7. Your thoughts on the Jets? Actually played pretty well, Big C. Your thoughts?
They got the rob by 7, okay, Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not one of those incidents with Dez Bryant fumbled the ball against the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
Any other receiver that we've seen fumbling the ball. This was a situation where the receiver had became a runner. He wasn't a receiver. Okay, he had caught the ball with a swing pass to Marius is his name. And he turned it up. He had run with the ball, Charlie.
Yeah.
And anytime a running back reaches the ball over the goal line and loses the ball, it's a touchdown, Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay? We've seen that time and time again. If the running back reaches the ball, breaks the plane,
Yeah.
it's a touchdown. This is the same thing we saw with Samarius Jenkins, okay?
Yeah.
The tight end for the Jets. He crossed the goal line. The ball changed from one hand to the other. They said he fumbled the ball, Charlie. When we saw him land in every angle, he had the ball in his right arm.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out at one point, we saw the ball move, but the ball was secure. They're saying that a player can't change hands with the ball when he's a runner. We
Yeah.
see that all the
Yeah.
I go back to the baseball game with the Indians and the Yankees, okay?
Yeah.
When the out was made to preserve the game with the Yankees, okay?
Yeah.
Everybody started. It's almost you're saying fans are stupid because we got all these electronics. Anybody that slows anything down frame by frame can find a flaw.
Yeah.
But professional sports is not played frame by frame. These officials blew it. I thought the worst call ever saw was 4 years ago up in Seattle with the Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Well, with the end zone debacle that they had and said it was a touchdown even though it was an interception.
Yeah.
The Green Bay Packers defensive back clearly had the football, but our lion eyes deceived.
Yeah, that tends to happen a lot.
And they did this weekend with the Jets.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jets are on a heater. They had won 3 consecutive games. Should be 4.
Yeah.
This is one of those things that when you talk about the power of the commissioner's office and the integrity of the game,
Yeah.
have some integrity in the officials' office, in the commissioner's office and the officials.
That's a very good point, Big C. Them good old boys in Atlanta. What's going on with the Falcons? Brand new stadium, brand new everything, great environment. How do they lose a game to Miami? They're favored by 11.5. They let a quarterback that takes a nap during the game come in there and beat them, Big C. Your thoughts on Miami beating Atlanta?
Let me take you back to Houston last year, okay, Charlie?
Yeah.
Remember this scene?
Hold on. You mean that? Yeah.
Let me tell you something about the Falcons were mighty, okay?
Yeah.
Think about the Falcons season right now. They're 2 plays away, Charlton, from being 1-4. Think
Yeah.
about that. They are 2 plays away from being 1-4. The Falcons are a very mediocre football team. I told you they would have a hangover. They'd be good to be 8-8.
Yeah.
They're going into the pace right now. But when you think about it, they were, Michael, as we go back to this official thing again, and it's the replay.
Yeah.
They were Michael Quick away in Detroit from losing the game on the overtake reception, okay?
That's a very good point.
They break things down frame by frame.
Yeah.
They were a drop pass away from losing the game against the Chicago Bears, the hapless Bears, okay?
Yeah.
Think about this. They're 2 plays away from being 1-4.
Yeah.
So they are not a dominant team.
Yeah.
They have the lead at halftime.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
That goes all the way back to the Super Bowl. I think they had the lead at halftime of the Super Bowl also.
Yeah, they sure did. They were up 28-3 at one point. New Orleans are the big win out of their quarterback, Drew Brees. They were favored by 5 over Detroit. And New Orleans gets the blowout win with $200+ million quarterbacks. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, we talked about this, Matt Stafford wanted to be playing from behind in this game.
Yeah.
He got so far behind he couldn't come back, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That Matthew Stafford is like, hey, you guys going out there and score. I'm going to prove to the world that I'm the best comeback quarterback of all time.
Yeah.
But if I fall short, it will say it wasn't my fault.
Oh, yeah. I tell you what, getting rid of Calvin Johnson, I don't think it's helped them at all, Big C. Of course, we talk about Green Bay and Minnesota, Aaron Rodgers with the injury. Your thoughts on the Vikings getting that win at home in the Dome, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, they got a much needed win, John. Case Keenum came in and held the fort. They also brought Teddy Bridgewater off the tough list today, so he was able to practice for the team for the first time.
That's good news. That's good news.
He gets 3 weeks on the reserve roster, Charlton, to see if they can activate him.
Yeah.
But if they can get Teddy Bridgewater on the active roster, Charlton, and get him a little bit of game time after dislocating that knee last year, Charlton,
Yeah.
it'll be a big improvement for that Vikings offense if he can have some timing. But, like I said, that Central Division is still up for grabs. Huntley, is going to get his chance. He's a 3rd-year quarterback out of UCLA,
Yeah.
Green Bay, Charlton.
Yeah.
But this would have been the perfect scenario when everybody talks about Colin Kaepernick.
Oh, yeah.
Have a chance in Green Bay. We talk about the mobility of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
He's a very mobile and fast quarterback.
Yep.
Colin Kaepernick could have walked in there and helped this team out, Charlton. I don't care what fans talk about. I'm going to protest. Think about this, Charlton. If a fan protests in Green Bay, they have, I believe, 48,000 people on the season ticket.
Yeah. Hey, I know a lot of good old boys from Milwaukee that would love to have those tickets, Big C. Baltimore falling at home to Chicago of all teams after winning at Oakland. What's up with Baltimore losing that game? I guess Ray Lewis and his owner didn't pray enough, Big C. Your thoughts?
I look at Baltimore and I'm wondering if Joe Flacco is looking in the mirror, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
In Baltimore.
Yeah.
And this is what we talk about in the NFL. You got people, all the experts around saying there's not 12 good starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
Which is true, Charlton.
Yeah.
There's not a dozen good starting quarterbacks in the NFL. This is guys that are masquerading and make a lot of money. Joe Flacco was embarrassing once again this past weekend.
That's a very good point. Speaking of embarrassing, I look at Washington, a 9.5-point favorite over the 49ers. And this team from San Francisco that has 5 Super Bowl championships and 6 Super Bowl appearances. The last game they won was when they had Colin Kaepernick on the roster. And they're so dumb. They haven't realized what his phone number is to say, you know what, we're cheating our fans. We got $1 billion stadium down here in Santa Clara. We have quarterbacks that can't win a game. The last guy who helped us win a game, we fired him because they wanted to appease the good old boys who are not showing up anyway, Big C. Your thoughts on San Francisco? It's just hard to see when these, Jerry Rice used to wear that uniform. Joe Montana, Ronnie Lott, Roger Craig. There's so many. Rathman used to wear that uniform. I mean, Charles Haley used to wear that uniform, Big C. Bill Walsh used to coach there. What's happened with that organization? They'd rather lose than get guys that know how to win on their team, Big C. Your thoughts?
I think about the great quarterbacks back over time that have played there, and I think about, a lot of people don't remember this. John Brody, John Brody was years ago. And even prior to him, Billy Kilmer, who took the Washington Redskins to a Super Bowl.
Oh, that's back in the day. Yeah.
Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jeff Garcia. These quarterbacks have been productive there, Charles.
Yeah.
And they have taken this team to the playoffs as well as Colin Kaepernick had, Charles.
Yeah.
But that's not what the team wants. You got Kyle Shanahan, and John Lynch.
Yeah.
The two geniuses of the NFL. Okay?
Yeah, they're so smart they can't hire a guy that took them to a Super Bowl. That's how smart they are.
Well, the last game that Kyle Shanahan had coached last season, his team couldn't score in the second half, okay?
No.
They couldn't score a point, but you hired him saying he was an offensive genius.
Yeah.
I think that similarity is being played by the 49ers this year.
Yeah.
Of what the Falcons did last year in the Super Bowl in the second half.
Yeah.
They couldn't score. And that's been what the 49ers have not been able to do. Charlton has scored touchdowns.
Yeah.
You bring in Lynch, who cleaned house.
Oh, that's a shame. That was a shame. Yeah. No. Yeah, that's a very good point, Big C. I want to bring up this other game, Jacksonville and the Rams. I know a lot of people like both offenses for these two upstart programs. Big C, your thoughts on that game? Yeah.
You're going to run Linda Fournette into the ground in Jacksonville. That's what's going to happen. This young man, when it comes time for contract negotiations with him, Charlton, this is what the GM and the owner is going to say. Well, you've had so many carries in you, and you know by the time a running back gets to 1,200 carries, we know that they're on the downside of their career.
Oh,
That's what they're going to say to Leonard Fournette in 4 years, okay?
Yeah.
He's going to have his 1,200 carries. They're going to say he's not worth it, make it get another young running back. Jared Goff, came back to life again, Charlton, got his team over heat. But look at what Todd Gurley did in that game, Charlton.
Yeah, amazing.
When they have Todd Gurley involved in the offense for the Rams, Charlton, everybody can talk about how Jared Goff was growing up. Okay?
Yeah.
His brother's named Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
As long as he's got his big brother with him, Charlton, he doesn't worry about anything.
Yeah.
As long as he's getting the ball to his big brother, Charlton, he will be successful in the NFL.
You're making some of the mothers nervous around the country when you're saying that Gurley and Goff are brothers, Big C. You know how the good boys don't take too kind of that down south, Big C. I want to get your thoughts. Okay, just want to make sure. That's how rumors get started, Big C. Speaking of rumors, Tampa Bay at Arizona. Adrian Peterson, I guess he is washed up, over 100 yards rushing against some good old boys from the South, Big C. Your thoughts?
It was a bad fit in New Orleans to start.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
But, Adrian Peterson got out to a place that had a good offensive line.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You think about David Johnson there in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Who has had a tremendous early career running the ball behind that huge offensive line they had. Adrian Peterson, I believe, had 123, 120 yards in that game.
Yeah. 2 touchdowns.
He had a 41-yard run brought back back.
Yeah.
Okay, because of a holding penalty. So you think about it. Here it is, Adrian Peterson, if not for that holding penalty, would have rushed for close to 170 yards
Yeah.
in this game, plus a couple of touchdowns.
Oh, yeah.
So Adrian Peterson was revitalized going out to the desert. They said that's where all the retirees go. Rejuvenated.
Yeah.
And so he was rejuvenated. He may help Carson Palmer out more than anything, Charlton, because Carson Palmer, you can't rely on him game in, game out, throwing for 300 yards.
Yeah.
He has success when he has a prominent running back. Now that he has Adrian Peterson, and Adrian wants to prove to the NFL
Yeah.
that he's still all day, all
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's a good point.
Tampa Bay about it.
That's a very good point, Big C. Kansas City and Pittsburgh, you know, I'm sure the Miami Dolphins, all them good boys are popping, you know, Cristal champagne in the new Cristal moonshine that nobody knows about but you and a couple good old boys, Big C. Are the Miami Dolphins from 72 drinking moonshine, Big C? Your thoughts?
They're done with it now, Charlton. Those old guys, they can't go about it.
Yeah.
Watching this game on Sunday, Charlton,
Yeah.
it also makes you think that this was a January game between those two teams.
Yeah.
Where you come in with a hot quarterback, a hot coach with an exciting offense, but all of a sudden you get into a game that really matters, even though Kansas City's been beat up offensively. They
Yeah.
lost a couple offensive linemen, and a receiver, Kelsey, was hurt also going into this game, Charlton.
Yeah.
This has been typical of Kansas City when they get to the big game.
Yep.
Is that they find a way not to be productive offensively, and we didn't see any offense from this team in this game. I mean, the Steelers were a team that was just blown out the week before.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they come in and they have Kansas City number. You had Ben Roethlisberger touting himself.
Yep.
You know, you think about the receiver, Brown, you know, had 150, 160 yards in receptions, a touchdown. Charge.
Yeah.
But the offense was totally lackluster. They corralled Kareem Hunt, held him to basically nothing in the game.
Yeah.
Alex Smith just could not find an open receiver, and he was overthrowing receivers all game long. But a big plus for Kansas City, Charlton. Everybody else also.
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of smoke inhalation. I look at the Raiders-Charger game and the Raiders to lose at the last seconds because they had too many turnovers. You know, something's missing. Maybe you could say it's the smoke in the air. People are concerned about their families, but they've been on a 4-game losing streak. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think it's all card, Big C. They're just
think about this,
yeah.
Charlton. When the Raiders started the game, how did they start the game? They started the game running the ball.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
Yeah.
Started running with Lynch. All of a sudden, you didn't see any more Lynch.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
You look at this quarterback, you have these prominent running backs, and they take them away
Yeah.
out of the game. Same thing with the Falcons. Freeman slashing in the Super Bowl in the first half last week, okay,
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
All right? Killing the Patriots. All of a sudden, he did the same thing against the Dolphins. He had 68 yards rushing in the first half versus the Dolphins on Sunday. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
He touched the ball out of the backfield, running it one more time in the second half. What happened? That 20-point lead evaporated, just like in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
When you stop doing what you do good, what you have an offensive line for, that's what the Raiders was. I saw Marshawn Lynch first play of the game when he ripped off an 8-yard run.
Yeah.
First play of the game.
Yep.
He had something around in the first quarter. All of a sudden, he was sitting on the bench.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I know Del Rio's trying to justify the contract for Carr, but sometimes you got to go with what's working for you, Big C. And, you know, that's a tough division for the Raiders to come back in. Denver and the Giants, a 12-point favorite by Denver. The Giants went in there, and, you know, you say there's a lot of smoke floating around California. There's even more smoke floating in the air up in Colorado, Big C. Your thoughts?
The Broncos were a 12-point favorite in this game.
Yep.
Charlton.
Yep.
Eli Manning only completed 11 passes.
Wow.
How the hell you win an NFL game completely 11 passes? The Broncos gave this game away.
Yeah.
They could not stop the running game.
Yeah.
The Giants, everybody talks about how good the Broncos defense is. And after this game, was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you think about it, you know, Eli Manning will get credit for the Giants winning.
Yeah.
But he was pathetic. You know, he was 11 for 19 in the game, Charlton.
Yeah.
He had Mitch Trubisky numbers, all right? 11 for 19.
Hey, Big C, did they pay him anyway? Did the mayor pay that good old boy anyway for having 11 pass completions in an NFL football game, Big C?
$20 million
I would. They used to say they wish they all could be California girls. I tell you, they wish they could all be NFL quarterbacks. They pay a lot of money, even for 11 pass completions in a game. Big C, tonight's Monday night game, real quick. Tennessee at home versus Indianapolis. Your thoughts, Big C? Yeah.
We saw Mark Castle last week being a city targeted in the pocket for Tennessee. Another team to sign him because he fits the mold of their offense that they built around Mariota.
Yeah.
But with Matt Castle and Mariota, he's a game time decision. If he plays, this is a surefire victory for the Colts, Charles.
Big C, that's a very good point. Now, this is something that no one other than you and Harry Edwards can really expound the way. Maybe Dr. Cornell West and can expound on some of the things I'm about to ask you about right now. Michael Eric Dyson, people who are honest and revered for their knowledge and their prescience, saying things that are true before the whole world knows about it. You know, we talk about intelligent people. We don't like sycophants people because we're not. You know, there's nothing like a man that stands up for himself. Anyone can beat you down because they have money. You can put your head between your tail. You can walk around wanting to be something that people will never let you because you don't own it. If you don't own it, it can always be taken away from you. What I'm so proud of Colin Kaepernick being the new Muhammad Ali, there's sometimes when men stand up for weak people, and they stand up for people who don't have the moxie or the balls to stand up for themselves. I'm so proud of you for being that kind of guy. And I'm proud of Colin Kaepernick for suing the NFL for doing wrong against him and against other people who are too weak or too sycophants to understand that they do have civil rights and civil protections in this country. Big C, Kaepernick taking on the NFL. Your thoughts? Yep.
That I really want to play football, and there's been collusion against me, and I can no longer sit back and accept this. People saying that there's no collusion. We've seen collusion in the NFL before, Charles.
Yeah.
This is nothing new. We saw it in baseball before free agency.
Kurt Flood, yep.
Challenged in the Major League Baseball that they had collusion. This is a second Bay Area athlete, Charles, that is charged in Major League Sports with collusion. Barry Bonds did it at the end of his career, and he couldn't get a job after hitting 73 home runs. People saying that he couldn't play. You just hit 73 home runs, but no one thinks you could play, Charles.
Yep.
Now, the NFL has lost a collusion antitrust suit before, all right?
Yeah.
They did that. Ask your boy Donald Trump.
Yep.
He was part of that. Okay?
Yep. Yep.
USFL. The NFL can actually lose these suits. Now, everybody, they say you got to have some proof that there's collusion between the owners. All you have to do, Charlton, is listen to the newsreels of the sports station.
Yep.
I think that Mara, okay?
Yep.
The Giants said that he had a lot of backlash from fans. He never had so much hate mail.
Yep.
If he signs Colin Kaepernick,
Yep.
all right?
Yep.
I think that the owner, and I can't remember his name, of the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, he and Ray Lewis.
Statement.
Yep.
That the fans were against him. So these are two owners that are saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And they're doing it through the media. You only need two. Okay?
Yep.
That's two, and there's been many more, Chuck. All right?
Yeah.
Only the Seattle Seahawks have brought him in for a look. Other owners have made the point that it's not good to hire him.
Yeah.
So they made a public statement on that. Now, if owners are listening to each other and they talk to each other, I'm quite sure that same statement was made behind closed doors at owners' meetings, Chuck.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones made the statement also.
Yep.
So there's been several owners that have publicly made the statement. You don't have to have an email. Your voice is good enough.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And then the statement that you released is just like an email. So when they talk about you got to have proof, the proof is there.
Yeah.
That Colin Kaepernick went and hired Mike Geragos, who was representing a lot of celebrities, and everybody saying, why hasn't he gone to the Players Association? You want to tell me that the Players Association is not aware that Barry Smith is not aware of what it was? I think they had a meeting not too long ago.
Yep. In New York. You're right. You're right. Yep.
So what he had to do legally, there's been enough news-wise, so these dumb sycophant broadcasters and news outlets
Yeah.
that say you got to have an email or a text. No, you broadcast.
Yeah.
You have it in print when they release statements. That's a press release from a team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's the thing you look at is similarity. If the same group being used by one owner and then a second and third owner, I think that's collusion.
Yeah.
I'm not a very smart man, but damn, I'm not that dumb.
But Big C, it all goes back to President Trump POTUS. You know, one of the lionest presidents in the history of the United States of America. According to every poll, he's a liar. No one believes him. And if you believe him, you're just a knucklehead yourself. But you can just Google a lot of the things. He's one of the biggest persons in the country, a racist that had the Central Park 5. Just Google that if you get upset about that. Google Central Park 5, especially if you're dumb. Okay, Google that. And realize that he tried to send 5 innocent black men to death. Took out an ad in the paper. Yeah.
The thing about Trump hasn't passed any significant legislation since he's been in office.
No.
His whole legacy thus far since he's been in office for 10 months has been overturning Obama regulations. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
That's his whole legacy, is turning over his president.
Well, he did say that neo-Nazis were good people too, Big C. You got to give him credit for that.
But this is one thing, Chuck. America is suffering from a white opiate epidemic right
Yep.
now, okay?
Yep.
It's suffering from an opiate epidemic where millions of Americans are lost every year to opiate overdose.
Yeah.
And this is the thing about this. This was a bill that was pushed through Congress, Charlton, back in 2016 by a couple white senators. They pushed it through. Congress passed this. Now think about it. The nation's Congress, the people that everybody elected to govern it.
Yep.
President Obama had no choice but to sign the bill, okay?
Yeah.
And this was to allow less regulation on opiates.
Yeah.
That's Trump wanted to be president and he wants to overturn Obama's legislation.
Yep.
This is one we should touch.
Yep.
Okay?
He won't do it.
The huge pharmaceutical companies in America who spend hundreds of millions of dollars, Charlton, to have Congress pass this legislation.
Yeah.
These people are his friends.
Yep.
He's not going to cut into their pocketbook, Charlton. Because if you're going to tell them anything on Obama's legislation,
Yeah.
that is the way to go put an executive order and cut down the deregulation and cut back the regulations on the pharmaceutical companies where the DEA can go in and investigate them more.
Yeah.
Not only that, Charlton, the senator who constructed that bill to get it through Congress,
Yeah.
okay, he hired him Friday as the new drug czar. Okay, the guy that created the opiate epidemic in America, you hire him as the drug czar.
Yeah.
Is that not putting the wolf in the hen house? Not in front of it, but inside the hen house. So we want to watch what you're doing here.
That's a very good point. And when we get off on Trump and how, you know, he's such a bad example of a leader for our country, and going back to the opiate thing, and then also with Kaepernick, he's the one who came out and told owners don't hire this guy. Imagine having the president of the United States telling major corporations not to hire a person because he practices the First Amendment, which is freedom of speech.
Well, yeah, he really does, John.
Yeah, and so just give me your thoughts, Big C, as we close out. You know, you talked about Tommy Smith. We talked about that as we opened the show. We talked about bright minds in our country, whether it's someone like a General Colin Powell that served this country, someone like a Michael Eric Dyson, a Harry Edwards. You know, men who are brave, not just smart, but brave. Not guys who are smart, but sycophants. Dr. Cornel West, one of the brightest minds I've ever known. Just what does this mean with Kaepernick having the balls to sue the NFL, no pun intended? Because you got to stand up for your rights. If you're going to be a man, quit begging people to give you a job. Take them to court, Big C. Does that make any sense?
Yes, he does. He would love to play football. There's been 39 quarterbacks signed by the NFL, Charlton, since
Yep.
Kaepernick was released, okay?
Yeah.
39 quarterbacks. And so what people are saying, that there were 39 quarterbacks better than Kaepernick that were signed by teams. You got quarterbacks that haven't even thrown a football in 3 years.
Yeah.
That were signed by teams, and Colin Kaepernick 3 years ago was in a Super Bowl, Charlton.
Yeah.
But if that's not collusion, I don't know what is collusion. He didn't even get a look. He didn't even get brought into a training camp.
Yeah.
He just signed 39 quarterbacks, Charlton, and I guarantee you this week with Aaron Rodgers going down, we can make it 40 quarterbacks that have been signed since Colin Kaepernick was released.
Well, Big
And
C.
he talked about him practicing his First Amendment right, Charlton.
Yeah.
And I want to go off track a little bit. I want to go back to Las Vegas, a couple of weeks ago with the shooting in Las
Yes.
Vegas.
Yes.
And everybody's talking about that Second Amendment rights. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
People need to look into the Second Amendment, what it was written about. It was talked about oppression and tyranny from the power. Spangled Banner. They omitted the second verse of the Star Spangled Banner, Charlton, because
Yeah.
it talks about putting slaves in their graves.
Yep.
Just like the Second Amendment, Charlton, in America. The Second Amendment talks about protecting your property, keeping your slaves at bay.
Yeah.
That's what the Second Amendment is about. The gun right in America at that time was to keep slaves from running away. All right? So when we talk about the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, and the Star Spangled Banner, I would question every American that says Colin Kaepernick has been unpatriotic with all the rest of the NFL African-American players, and even the president. I don't know if he can read anything articulate, but read the second verse of the Star Spangled Banner. Google it. You tell people that all the time.
Yeah.
Google the original Star Spangled Banner.
Yeah.
And read the second verse of it and see what it says, and see how racially divided it is.
Well, Big C.
Not what people think that it is, that document.
Yeah.
But what I'm looking forward to, Charlton, in this case with Colin Kaepernick, is that he brings the light and the plight of corporate America, especially in the sports world.
Yeah.
I don't know if they want to go to court, even though this will be heard by an arbitrator.
Yeah.
And if he loses, then it has to go to court. The NFL really don't want their finances disclosed.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
I say them selling this suit with Kaepernick because that's the last place that the NFL wants to be, is in a disclosure status in a civil court, Charlton.
Well, this is for everybody. If you ever feel aggrieved, just don't argue and fight. Just go down to the courthouse and sue them. Hire an attorney and sue. America is a nation of the laws. Big C. Back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bondini Brown. He was Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young men, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe? Today's the 16th, Big C.
It's Monday.
Yes, Monday.
Well, let's get the Tuesday NBA tip-off.
Yes. Yeah.
We got college football.
Yeah.
We got NFL football. We got NHL hockey. We got Major League Baseball playoffs.
Yes.
We're talking about getting drunk on sports.
And you can follow down every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide. Follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. As we always tell you, there's never, ever any reason for domestic violence. If you know any woman going through that garbage, just call 911 so she won't have to go through it on her own. And as we tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope that you have a super fantastic day.